Hey guys, welcome back to OracleTribe, episode number 17, what I am calling Gi NoGi, the labeling of what you're going to be watching. Usually it's Gi or NoGi, but today in this episode, Zenon has forgotten his top half, and so he's going to go NoGi on the top half. So this should be good because Zenon tends to be significantly faster with NoGi, as most people are. So it's good to have a little bit of that advantage over me. So let's just jump right into it. This is an earlier recording from roughly around October 22nd. So it's over a month old now from original shoot date to edit date today, which is November 27th. A lot has happened since then. It's obviously now almost December. Today I think is high of 7 degrees. And to be quite honest, we would still be rolling, to tell you the truth, if it wasn't for the fact that Ontario, like a lot of other parts of the world, are currently under lockdown. Ontario is for 28 days, so I think we go to just a little bit before Christmas. Various parts of Europe are similarly going under lockdown. And it's quite interesting because if you go on YouTube and you watch some of your favorite channels, like I do with Jiu Jitsu, with Chewy, and some of the guys like Keenan, you're seeing these guys competing. I'm not sure if it's Keenan, but I know Chewy, for example, is competing as a bunch of other people are. So I don't know how that works. I haven't looked in the details of where they're competing, but clearly, you can't compete with masks on. So there's clearly no lockdown in wherever that is. I'm not even sure if it's in the States. So I really can't speak to it, but I'm just hoping that, it's not contributing to the overall spread that's still happening in this wave 2 that's around the world. The good news is the vaccine's coming around the corner. The 1918 Spanish flu, if it's any indicator of people's behavior, it's right on track. Back in 1918, people did not want to wear masks. There were anti-mask rallies, as there were this time around, right after Wave 2, or before Wave 2. And then there was an outbreak just during the American Thanksgiving. And then surprisingly, no vaccine back in 1918, and by February, March, suddenly the virus was gone. So I don't knock on wood, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm hoping that we follow in that pattern today. So Zenon and I have not rolled since. There's one more roll after this that I have not edited yet. So there's one more that should be coming, but that will be this is the second last one, and then you won't see a video for us for some time. So here Zenon has fallen into my top-down triangle. I'm not sure what to call it, but this is one of my favorite moves to get from. Usually I get it from mount. So here you can see I actually got a separate finish on this. Normally you'll go for, if it's on a normal triangle, you're pulling down on the neck to pinch the carotid arteries. When it's on the north-south top-down position, you obviously can't do that as readily. So usually I go for the arm, which you could see I was thinking about, but then it occurred to me that I could actually still do an inverted traditional triangle, which basically means I grabbed his pen, as you saw, and I basically bent his neck forward. So it wasn't so much a choke as it was a kind of like almost like a guillotine, like a neck crank / guillotine. It just doesn't feel good. So that's how I got the choke. That's one of the things I teach all my students is principle-based jiu-jitsu versus always focusing on techniques and specific steps A to F, and a lot of people get lost in terms of what do I do now? Where do I put my hands next? One of the things that I teach my students is to always be thinking about where mechanically is the submission, right? You're only submitting people one of two primary ways, which is chokes and joint locks. And I don't want to limit my students to a set number of techniques that I teach them. I mean, if I teach a technique one day every week, I can teach him 365 techniques in a given year. Now that's not a reality. Most schools don't do that. Sorry, let me take that back. They may in fact teach one technique per week, but you're getting 52 techniques versus one a day. One a day. What I meant to say is you're not teaching one a day. You might be teaching one or two per week, so you might be in the order of 100 to 52, as low as 52 techniques in a given year. So that's a lot of techniques still. So rather, I'll still do that, but rather I will teach my students to think of what is the submission that is right before your eyes. So instead of trying to force the thing that your teacher taught you to do, look for the opportunity that's right there. And so that was a classic example when I had the inverted top-down triangle. I just basically grabbed his pant, and I remember clearly thinking, if I just basically lean forward, I can probably get the tap. And so when I reached over and grabbed his pants, although as odd as that looked, you could see that it actually worked. Hope that made sense. So we are on beautiful Cherry Beach. As you can see, there's a smokestack on to the left, water treatment facility. Guys are still sailboarding, as you can see back there. Literally, I think about 3 weeks from this shoot date, one of the guys actually was doing, I don't know what's it called, parasailing or kite surfing, and he succumbed to the winds and got stuck and ultimately couldn't help himself and needed rescuing, and he was literally pulled out of this very beach. I think he survived, but just goes to show you got to be careful. I mean, we would see them every day, and we just thought, wow, these guys are crazy. And some of these cold temperatures, the water here is probably 5, 6, 10 degrees, maybe not 10, 5, 6 degrees colder than what we have at room air temperature. So they were swimming in like 1, 2 degree, kite sailing in 1 or 2 degrees, and yeah, crazy stuff. Here I got a neon belly on Zenin. No rush to sort of advance my position here. Zenin turns into me to give me his back. I've sort of got a wrist grab, almost Kimura there, or gift wrap. I'm just keeping my pressure on him, not letting him advance his defense, making it painful for him with my knee on his kidneys. Basically, what I'm trying to do from a principle perspective is keep my center of gravity straight down through my core into his core, without distributing my weight across his body. So had I taken full mount, which is completely respectable and obvious, I didn't do that. Here's a gift wrap / triangle. Not sure if what I remember if I got it or not, but I think I tried brute strength here to get the gift wrapped choke. And I don't know if I get it or not. So I lock in the body triangle, making it further uncomfortable for Zenon. There isn't a week that goes by that I don't see on YouTube with some new thing that is being revealed in the Jiu Jitsu world. That's really why I love the sport, the martial art, just because there's so much variety and constant evolution. Guys coming up with stuff, creating stuff, rehashing old stuff, renaming stuff, whatever the case may be. It's fascinating. I just reminded of that because I saw one, I forget the name of it, again, because there's so many. I saw it on YouTube the other day from a GIF wrap, basically sort of a brutal submission from it. I forget how it goes, but it was some Brazilian dude, and basically from the GIF wrap, he, I think, puts his shin or his knee down on the compressed forearm of your opponent, further cutting off his carotid, which is brilliant. I think it's great. It's probably not the most friendliest thing to do on a friendly match, but definitely legal. And I guess if you do it nicely, you get the tap without injuring your opponent.
Kind of more than rock sliding. Rock sliding is very, it's very like unilateral. Yeah, you get funky positions, but this is like constant.
So today's episode is 2 parts. This part that you're watching right now is 20 minutes, and then part 2 is 10 minutes. So full total video runtime is about half an hour, minus some of the dialogue you're seeing here.
Oh wow! So it's like same thing. The cord wants to keep going this way.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta.
But again, guys, I don't really try to edit too much out of this stuff. And the reason why is just because, partly because I don't want to just do more work for the sake of doing work. But some guys I know out there want to just see the full, raw, uncut video of day in the life of guys rolling, which involves sitting around and chatting. The hope is that it bring you in with us so that you feel like you're part of us. I know we're all locked down and in our homes and not as active as we once were, and if you used to do jiu-jitsu, you really miss it. Hopefully these type of videos get you that sense of feeling that you're back out there with your buddies and rolling. So that's why I don't edit it. Well, I hope you guys are good out there, staying active, staying safe, however you find your way of doing it, through Zoom classes of some sort. I know some academies are offering Zoom across the internet. It's an idea that I've played with in my head. I don't know if the demand is there for my student base to make it really viable. But who knows, I might return to it. But whatever it is that you're doing, hopefully you're staying fit and enjoying something in your life that's keeping you active, even if it's not necessarily physical activity. Obviously physical activity is important, but even if it's something that's entertaining and educational, whether it's playing instruments, learning an instrument, reading, spending time with family, those things are all important. But on the physical side, yeah, there's a lot of ways we can keep busy, as you can kind of guess based on my channel. OracleTribe is entirely pretty much based on that principle, that we can stay busy in many different forms. I forget what this is called, what Zenon's doing. He's got my foot trapped. Essentially, he's trying to prevent me from rolling, doing a Granby roll to get back into guard. But really, yeah, he's got the back right there, and he took it. Me personally, I have not yet. So Zenon has access to my collars. I'm not sure why he's not going for the collar choke. Probably because I'm attacking his foot a little bit and he knows it. That's one of the things with jiu-jitsu is that, I mean, sometimes it just comes down to the instantaneous action of who does what first. Your mind is naturally drawn to the attention of what's at risk. If you're attacking someone, there's a very good chance that their attention is going to be drawn to the risk at hand, and in that case, it was his foot, which I was going for essentially an ankle lock. A little known sort of defensive mechanism when someone has your back. It actually does work. I've got it in competition and won a fight one time based on that. And so that's might have been what Zenon was thinking, was he's being distracted. Anything that's going to be sort of ankle based is definitely very worrisome, and so you are more than likely to give a lot of your time and attention to that. Zenon does a nice little mount transition cleanly, and then he decides to give it back up. Not sure why. I'm not sure what happened there, but it seems like oh yeah, I think if I remember correctly, he basically hit me in my left eye socket quite hard, and I need to take a quick break. I had a detached retina in my left eye, and that's why I'm always careful and weary of any sort of impact to my eye. It's not a good thing. Once you got a detached retina, there's a high likelihood that you will get it again. I've had eye pokes in the past. None of them are fun. Two major ones, one leaving a significant amount of eye debris, floaters in my eye ever since that eye poke. One actually leaving a debris embedded in my cornea, a little black stain that I could always see. During rolls, between rolls, guys just have to be a little bit careful when their hands around people's eyes, especially as it comes over for chokes and whatnot. It's so easy to injure someone's eye, which is not cool. So here you see classic grip fighting. I'm the first to admit I'm not, sort of a master at grip fighting. Here's actually one of the techniques I do right there. I double up 2-on-1 on one wrist, and there's no real science to it. I choose whatever one feels right, and then I straight arm him so that my arms are straight, his arms are straight. The key being the 2-on-1, that he can't fight that off. And then I basically start rotating my torso. What's the closest analog to that? Is kind of like the shot put. You know the shot put where you're sort of is it the shot put or the hammer throw, or it's where you're doing the basic rotation. And it's very sort of torsion derived. Long story short, yeah, 2-on-1, twist your torso, reverse the mount into in guard position. It's quite effective. I've used it many times. Here I'm transitioning to armbar to slash triangle from top to back as we transitioned, and there's the tap out, which I mentioned earlier is my classical from top triangle to armbar, basically. Not traditional armbar, just the exposed arm is just theirs for you to take. You don't have to find a traditional triangle choke from that top mount, as the arm is exposed, and you can usually get your tap out that way.
Right. The fence right beside our backyard. Beside there's like a public small, called a park. Okay. It's probably about from your city to that grass. Parkette, yeah. And it's like a little over the fence.
That guy that who just walked by in the background, Zenon and I were just laughing at kind of how, not laughing at him, but just how that dude was this buff dude, you know, jacked up, and had a, I think, like a pit bull. And the two looked exactly like each other, and we were mentioning how people tend to look like their dogs, or their dogs tend to look like their people. It's kind of hilarious. Just another minute or so to the first part, and then I'm going to transition over to the second part of this video. Okay. Okay, second part of the video starts here. And this part, as I mentioned earlier, is about 10 minutes total runtime. You can see this is shot in on an iPhone 10XS Max. I think it's actually just shot at 60 hertz, 60 frames per second, 1080p, which is giving quite a nice quality to this. Thought about shooting it at 4K, 120, or whatever the 4K is at, but my 10X is getting several years old now. We're at iPhone 12, so it's 2 generations behind, and the memory is not very large. Zenon gets the tap out with the Kimura. The way I teach the Americana versus the Kimura, I always forget myself, is if you look at if the hand that's being attacked is being rotated from top to bottom, meaning as in like it's up for like a high five. Think of the American who's very pro, you know, very proud, has a flag in his hand. If his hand is up like that and you're going for the lock, then that's the Americana. But if you're going from the upside down version, it's the Kimura, which analogously plays well because Japan is on the other side of the globe, and Kimura is the Japanese guy, judoka. Here I'm just using brute force butterfly sweep. As you can see, we're having a good chuckle there. Zenon knows I've been working on that for all summer, so he's defended it well. And he has no gi, so he's got no belt. But you could see what I demonstrate there is that really you don't actually need anything. You don't need any grips. If you are, you know, capable, you could use just your lift from your foot. But in my case, I wanted to grab something, and I just grabbed the side of his pants for my grip hold. So shin across belly, momentary point where I literally just stood up. A lot of times, guys, we're doing a lot of stuff that's superfluous, meaning there's not value add. I can't speak for everybody. I mean, we all have different games. One of the things that I'm trying to do with partly my age and my time going by is I'm trying to refine, as many people are, refine their game so that they're removing redundancies and the little things that don't add value. Sometimes, literally, when you're attacking someone, you can almost just stand there and appear to be doing nothing, and effectively you are doing nothing, and yet your opponent is potentially crunched up in a ball, protecting himself, and that juxtaposition is quite ironic. Yeah. So my only point is that. Yeah, that's one of the things that we try to strive for in any sort of art or specialty, is the removing of extraneous bits. What you saw there, that's a spider, little distraction technique, Anderson spider. But the lock I got was, again, the top-down triangle. So those that are not familiar with Jiu-Jitsu, a lot of times you see guys just swatting flies, and you think to yourself probably, what the hell are these guys doing? I mean, we're not judoka, we're jujutsuka, so we're not into the grip slash lock and throw. We're not particularly adept to that. Some guys are. What we're looking to do is really just establish grips, and those are the grips that end up dictating where the fight goes. Oftentimes, it's that single point advantage that can make or break a difference in a match. So that's why we do that. It's one of the things I teach my students is, I mean, there's a point system in the IBJJF sport world. You got points for, scoring things, but you also have advantages, which don't have a direct one-to-one correlation to points. It's not like one advantage equals half a point or something like that. But one of the things, that way I see things is, in my own mind, I run half points, little things that sort of add up. They're not actual. That was a shitty Imanari roll, but they add up. Not in terms of actual points within the scoring system of sport jiu-jitsu, but in my own mind. This is what I teach my students, and when you consider them that way, similar to advantages, then it helps you gauge whether or not, where your game is going. So, grips are like that. You don't get any advantages for grips in sport jiu-jitsu, but in my system, in my mind, what I teach my students is that, a grip is a fractional point. You should keep that in your mind. Breaking a grip is, removing a fractional point. Certain positions are, you're gaining fractional points, if not getting an advantage from the referee. These fractional points, depending on where it's coming from, quite often will dictate whether or not you make or break a fight. I don't know if that made any sense, but I'll try to give you more analogies to that once I see them more. It could be anything. It could be, your aggression. How much more are you aggressive in a match? Can be the deciding factor of, how well your game proceeds along in this incremental point system that I'm talking about. Where you would see that possibly is in a tie match, where both individuals score the same score in a supervised referee match, where it comes down to the referee. The referee at that point goes to the advantages or disadvantages the penalties, and if those as well are matching, then you're both still at the equal scoring points, right? So at that point, the referee has to make a judgment, and that's really where what I'm driving at is that based on how he saw you do the things you did that were not scored either as points or advantages or penalties, in his mind will determine whether or not you actually had a better game or not.
You have to get one of the pots.
I know. I was like,
So I got the tap there. To be quite honest, I don't know exactly what it's from. I don't think it's from a blood choke. I think it's actually just pure pain, and probably wasn't that painful particularly. I mean, in a real match where we're both going 100%, I'm sure Zen would not have tapped out. But because this is a friendly rule, we're not trying to kill each other, so I'm pretty sure that's why he tapped out. But regardless, I'm sure there's an element of pain to that.
I see. Yeah, you can burn your arms out.
Burn your arms out,
Yeah.
fuck your fingers up.
So guys, there's
But I mean,
just
that's a big part of the fight,
15
right?
seconds remaining to this. Thanks for joining another episode of OracleTribe. Like and subscribe and hit all those buttons down below. Share with your buddies. Let me know what you think. What did you like? What did you not like? If you want to see anything in particular, let me know in the comments below. And stay safe and stay strong as usual. And look forward to the second last episode, number 7. Is it 17? 18. We're both back in Gi's, back on the beach again. And then there's a bit of a break. And we'll see what I come up with in terms of content for you guys. But otherwise, thanks, guys. And we'll talk soon. All right, bye-bye.